Alejandro reporting live from Channel 11 Newsroom to the Golden Panthers business community.
Tonight we continue with the developing story of Schwein Corporation. After uncovering that the concrete producer was overstating earnings, the investigation has uncovered that the company and the CFO, Bill Money, were also understanding liability as well as making unauthorized disbursements.
Not only this, but the concrete giant is also being accused of creating fictitious employees who were currently members of Bill Money's family. Now we will show you live feed of the trial, which has begun today. The attorney will be interrogating one of Schwing's auditors, an expert witness from Peña Waterhouse-Coopers, and Mr. Money himself will come to the stand to testify.
The court is now in session. You may be seated.
May I please report, Your Honor?
Yes, counsel.
Hi, my name is Elle Woods, and I am representing the SEC. Schwing Corporation, along with Mr. Bill Money, are being accused of committing fraud by improperly classifying over $5 billion in revenue, which has led to an overstatement of earnings by over $1 billion. In addition, they have understated their liabilities, have made unauthorized payments to vendors, and created fictitious employees, which, when put together, have caused the company to declare bankruptcy, causing investors to lose millions of dollars. Mr. Bill Money used the power that he had to influence and bribe those around him in order to continue falsifying the financial statements as well as deceiving investors.
We are now open for questions. Counsel, the witness stand is yours.
Thank you. I am going to call into question Sandy Beach. Can you state your name, please?
My name is Sandy Beach.
And who do you work for?
I work for Arthur Anderson.
And what is your position with the firm?
I'm an auditing partner, and I was in charge of the Schwing engagement team for the past 3 years.
Are you aware that you're being held responsible for not properly carrying on the engagement and failing to find the fraud that has been perpetrated?
Yes, I'm aware, but I do not agree with the charges that myself and Arthur Anderson are being accused of.
Can you please provide us some examples of tests that your team performed in order to test the expenditure cycles?
Sure. It is important to complete tests in order to verify the completeness, existence, and rights and obligations of management assertions. In order to do this, we must seek evidence by performing a combination of both test of controls and substantive tests.
Can you please provide more details pertaining to the substantive test?
Substantive tests of exponential cycle accounts are directed toward gathering evidence of understatement and omission of material items rather than overstatement.
And what is the first step to perform during substantive tests?
Okay. We must first obtain data, and then we must verify that the data provided is relevant and in a correct version of the accounting files to be analyzed.
And can you please provide us an example of substantive tests that your team performed?
We perform analytical procedures which can help identify the relationship between accounts and risk that would otherwise not be apparent. For example, we can compare current payroll expenses for the quarter with those of the same period in previous years, and we can use the trends and or variances to examine the causes.
And did your team actually perform these tests?
Well, substantive test details are not normally performed for payroll expense transactions, unless we detect a significant weakness within the internal controls.
And why do you consider that your team was not able to find this fraud?
We were obviously provided with the incorrect data, thus the results of our tests were not truly representative of the statements of our company.
No further questions. Now I will call into question Catherine Peña. Can you please state your name?
My name is Catherine Peña.
And who do you work for?
I am the managing partner of Peña Waterhouse-Coopers.
Was there anything that the auditors of Arthur Anderson missed?
The first thing that we realized is the auditors of Arthur Anderson had actually been provided incorrect information. In addition, by being able to access the true records, we were able to discover the unauthorized disbursements.
And how did you discover these unauthorized disbursements?
We obtained the disbursement voucher file and used it as a primary file, and also we used the receiving report file as a second data file. Then we joined the two files to create a combined output file. This test produced a file of vouchers for which the organization has no record of inventory received. This means that payments were made by just receiving an invoice without confirming that inventory was received. This could also mean that multiple disbursements were made to the same supplier for the same goods.
Please refer to Exhibit 8 for an example of the findings. The auditors also mentioned that they did not test the payroll expense due to the fact that they billed the company, that they believed the company had adequate internal controls. Can you specify if you had any findings within the payroll transactions?
We discovered that Schwing was making payroll checks to ghost employees.
Can you specify what ghost employees are?
Simple enough. A ghost employee is someone on the payroll who doesn't actually work for the company. In this case, all the ghost employees were members of Mr. Bill Money's family.
How did you uncover this?
Auditors should test the mathematical accuracy of payroll summaries and trace totals to the payroll records and to the GL accounts. We compared the average salaries of the employees with those of previous years and realized there were unusual trends and abnormal balances in the payroll file that we analyzed over the past 5 years.
And what are your conclusions based on the findings from your examination?
Based on the findings, we concluded that the company, as well as Mr. Money, were involved in fraudulent activities. This was included within our expert report provided to the court.
No further questions.
The court will recess for an hour.
Now, on account that the court is in recess, we will show a video demonstrating that even though the auditors from Arthur Anderson were provided wrong information, they were not exactly efficient in conducting the audit.
Jasmine, can you believe what these auditors were doing? No wonder they weren't able to realize they were provided with the wrong information. Maybe they had bronchitis, because ain't nobody got time for that.
True. Now, back to the courtroom where we've been interrogating Mr. Bill Money.
The court is now in session.
I am going to call into question Mr. Bill Money. Can you please say your name?
My name is Bill Money.
And can you say what your position was at Schwing Corporation?
I am the CFO of the company.
Were you aware of the inadequate transactions that were being done in Schwing?
Of course not.
And do you know who Marsha Dime is?
Well, she was my wife. She passed away 2 years ago.
Okay, well I ask you, do you miss your wife, Mr. Money?
No, she's still with me. She's my cousin for you.
Nice to know. And who authorized
were delivered to my house, and the service were provided to me. The death of my wife was saved me. I need those services.
I ask you again then, were you aware of what was going on within the company?
I told you no.
Tell me the truth, Mr.
You
Money.
handle the truth.
Mr. Money, control yourself, or you will be detained and removed from the courtroom. Courtroom recess.
Clearly, this case will take time to be resolved. However, we will continue to provide coverage with the details in our next edition.
We'll be back with the weather after these commercial breaks.